Good morning, everyone. Um, this is Mary Miller Wilson. It's Tuesday morning. I just voted. I just voted. Don't forget to vote. If you see me kind of looking in two spots, it's because I've got two cameras on me, so I'm just trying to figure out where to look. Anyway, after last week's presentation about autoimmune conditions and the fact that they're on the rise in this country, and we see a lot of that in functional medicine, I got a couple of questions after my presentation about how do you define an inflammatory food? I know I was talking about foods that cause inflammation, that wear down the gut wall, and can kind of act as a trigger for autoimmune conditions. So when I was driving to work this morning and sort of thinking about what I might speak about, I thought, aha, the elimination diet. The elimination diet is pretty much the foundational eating plan in functional medicine. When I worked at the Cleveland Clinic, absolutely every new patient was placed on this eating plan. It's so effective. And pretty much the way it works is you back out all of the offending inflammatory food categories in the standard American diet that can drive this inflammatory process. Things like alcohol, coffee, corn, eggs, shellfish, beef, sugar for sure. Got my little cheat sheet here. Oh, and gluten and dairy. Those are pretty much the high points. Those are the things that drive the inflammatory process in the body. So when you adopt an elimination diet, and lots of people have elimination diets, there's somebody named J.J. Virgin that lots of people follow in functional medicine. She has an elimination diet that takes 7 foods out of the diet. The functional medicine one, the IFM one, is a little bit more comprehensive. So that's the one that I'm going to talk about today. But anyway, you back these foods out of your diet for probably at least 6 to 8 weeks to calm the inflammatory process down and start the healing process with the gut wall. And not all of these foods are problems for everyone, but they're kind of like the main ones that cause issues for people. Let's see. So things that you can eat are obviously fish, low glycemic index fruits, so things like berries. High glycemic index fruits are things like watermelon, bananas. Those have a high glycemic index so that they drive the blood sugar, or they have the ability to drive the blood sugar levels. That's why those need to be avoided. Gluten-free whole grains, things like amaranth, brown rice, quinoa, teff, and then oils are fine. Healthy oils, fats, coconut oil, nuts and seeds. Except for peanuts. Peanuts need to be avoided when you're doing an elimination diet because peanuts aren't really nuts. They're actually legumes and they tend to be moldy. So they can, for lots of people, cause food sensitivities and trigger this inflammatory process that we're talking about. Of course, poultry is fine and vegetables are fine. Starchy vegetables, things like carrots, peas, those should really be avoided. You want to move into things like asparagus, broccoli. Cauliflower is fine, even though that's a little bit more on the starchier side. Green beans are okay. So when you follow an elimination diet or back these things out of your diet, it calms the inflammatory process almost immediately. And lots of pesky symptoms that people haven't been able to get to the bottom of in their life, like things like joint pain, on and off headaches, periods of fatigue, GERD, or heartburn can often be triggered by some of these inflammatory food categories that I've listed. So after the 6 to 8 weeks of following this anti-inflammatory eating plan or this elimination diet, you slowly and methodically start adding things back in one at a time. So say, for example, you get to the 2-month mark or the 8-week mark, and you're kind of like, I've really been missing coffee or a glass of wine on the weekend or whatever. That would be the first thing that you'd want to add back in, the thing that you've missed the most. So if you really enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning and you've been pretty diligent about staying away from it on the elimination diet, that's what you want to add in first. And you want to challenge the body. And by that I mean you want to drink coffee 3 days in a row and see if any of the symptoms that you're experiencing prior to starting the elimination diet resurface. If they don't, leave coffee in and move on to the next thing. Say, for example, eggs. Like, you really enjoy eggs, they're a great source of protein, you have avoided them for 8 weeks, and now you're going to add them back. So challenge the body. Have eggs for breakfast, have eggs on a salad for lunch, and anything like that. And watch for symptoms. The symptoms that you had when you started the whole process in the first place, two months prior. So if, say, for example, you've got some issues with on and off headaches, you add eggs back in and your headaches start to reappear, that's an indication to you that those headaches may perhaps be driven by the presence of eggs in your diet. So throw the eggs out and move on to something else. And just keep moving through in that way, slowly and methodically adding them back in and watching for symptoms. So that's pretty much how an elimination diet or an elimination eating plan, I hate to use the word diet, works. We have lots of different eating plans that we use in functional medicine. Some people have issues with histamine foods. There's another eating plan that we use called Renew. There's another one that we use called the phytonutrient. And all of them are designed for different issues that people are having. But elimination is very foundational to functional medicine, and lots of people are doing different variations on it. Let's see. And I think I'll kind of leave it at that. I know a lot of people that kind of tune in and watch me don't live local. I'm living in Cleveland now, but the open house for our practice is this Thursday. And I'm going to be introduced, and a lot of the new services that we're offering here at Glow IV are going to be discussed, in addition to just opening the practice up to everything else that we do here. IVs, IM vitamin D, B12, chelation, all the different things that we offer. So if you can come, it's Thursday night at 5 o'clock. It'll probably go till 7. And a big thing that I'm currently doing is testosterone pellet therapy. So I'll be discussing that. I'll be discussing the advantages of it. And so I hope you can join us. Thank you. Bye.